Right, how's it going, guys? Welcome to another video. I'm going to be showing you today the top 5 recommendation plants that I would give to beginners. I'm going to be showing from my experience. I'm going to be sharing my experience and letting you know where I keep them and how much water I give them and just general maintenance. So I've listed them from, like, easiest will be number 1. So they're all very, very easy, but I've listed it, so in my personal opinion, the easiest one is number 1, so I'm going to start with 5. For number 5, I'm going with the Calathea, this guy here, which is Calathea orbifolia, and my one, as you can see, is quite large. It's in a nice big pot, and I keep this just in probably the shadiest part of my bedroom, because I've got a window at either, you can see the window that side, and then I've got a window opposite, so the middle of my room is like the shadiest, and I've got it against the wall right in the middle there. And if you can see, when I first bought it, which was a while ago now, where it stops here, where my hand is here, that's where the top of the plant was, so it's just grown this much, and the new foliage comes through a lot glossier and, I guess, more limey, like more green. So I'm quite happy with the light level that it's getting, which I'd say it was moderately low lighting, because if there was if it wasn't getting enough light, this would be a lot more yellow. The newer growth is a lot more sensitive to that than the older growth, and these like relative humidity, but I live in quite a humid country anyway, and my bedroom, I've got a fish tank right next to it, so it's always quite humid in my room. I water this. I really don't water this very often, but it doesn't use up much water, so I can water it and it will stay damp for quite like a couple of weeks. And I don't give it much water at a time, but that I would say is very easy, and they sell them in IKEA. I got this one from IKEA for I think it was £8, which was in my, like, I looked at that and I was like, yep, definitely getting that. It's quite a tropical looking plant. It will fill up a nice big space, and it's just so easy. So that's at number 5. Right, at number 4 is Monstera deliciosa. This is a very, very popular, very common houseplant for a lot of, I'd say, beginners, but a lot of people that don't actually look, that are not interested in plants as well. A lot of people just get these because they are so known for their just ease of, they don't need any care. They can go in a very low light situation, and all you have to do is water them. So this one I've had for quite a while. It's growing some nice new leaves. I believe there's 2. Yeah, there's one coming up at the back there as well. And this one I got for £10, which I thought was a good price for this size, and it's got nice big leaves. I really can't get it into the camera, but like I said, this one is in the same situation as the Calathea, but just the opposite side. So it's getting the same amount of light. As you can see, there is no yellowing of the leaves. New leaves are coming through. None of the leaves have died, because a lot of the time you would get leaves that, when the leaves are facing the wall, those ones tend to die off if they're not photosynthesizing enough. But I'm happy with how well this one's doing. I water this. I let this one dry out a little bit between waterings. I always let all of my plants dry out between waterings unless they are carnivorous and need to be sitting in water. But I sometimes forget about watering this one because it is just so robust by itself and hardy. But a way you can tell is when the leaves start to curl up. So if you're a beginner and you're not sure and you don't want to overwater, just look for when the leaves start curling up, and then give it a nice water. So that one there is just in this garden pot there. So that is number 4. Right, number 3 here, we've got Pepperomia angulata. This is a lovely trailing, very dark green foliage to it, and it's just been ridiculously easy to look after. I keep this in quite a bright lit spot, but in direct sunlight. I just have it hanging on my window. Some of you may have seen this in like a previous video that I've done, but it has grown quite a lot since I got it. When I first got it, it was coming out maybe like just this far from the pot, and now it's just extending a lot more. And that, look at the foliage on there, it's just really nice, that one. So that I let that dry out fairly, like almost entirely before I water it, and I've never had any issues with it. I did get mildew on this, but it's all been sorted now and it's gone. But other with regards to care, it's very easy. I've just got it in a perlite and regular potting compost mix, and there's not much else I can say about that because it's just so easy. But definitely recommend those if you're looking at getting a beginner plant. So that is number 3. Right, number 2 is coming in with the Scindapsus Pictus Satin pothos, and this one is very easy. I water it when it's dry. When the top of the soil is dry, that's when I water it, and it has put on so much growth since I got it, and I've taken a lot of cuttings off of this as well. It's growing a bit lopsided, which I think it makes it quite a feature, but I would like to get a trailing one of these. I think I paid around £6 for this one, so not too bad. And I keep this in, I guess, low light as well, to be fair, because this one stays in the middle of my room. It stays on this desk that's in front of me right now, and it gets quite low light. But I did have this previously in the window, and it would get quite a fair bit of direct morning light, so it wouldn't get the strong, harsh afternoon light. I wouldn't recommend that if you're if you're not too sure on how much light they need. Don't stick it in direct afternoon sun. But this one is very easy. Like I say, it grows relatively fast, and it's just such a feature plant with that foliage that, and as it matures more, you'll get a lot more of the satin colour on the leaves, and very easy to take cuttings, propagate, so it's a win-win really. So that's number 2. Right, so number 1, I've gone for the Sansevieria. I have this variegated version. I also have a couple of other Sansevierias, but I haven't shown them on my channel yet, but they will be coming soon. The reason I've chose this for number 1 is because it is so hardy. I've gone previously without watering this for over a month. I think it was more like 2 months, but and it did shrivel up a little bit. Like you can see kind of texture on the leaves where it's it goes a little bit wrinkly. But other than that, you just water it again, and within a day or 2 it is back to normal. So it is so hardy. It doesn't mind very low lighting, and it doesn't mind very intense lighting. I keep this in my window so it gets solid sun from morning to evening, and I've also kept it in the shadier areas, and I know people that these are recommended for quite low lighting. So it's just invincible, and it grows relatively, I'd say it does grow quite slow, but it's one of those plants that, because you just leave it and don't have to maintain it a lot, you notice it growing, whereas plants that you're constantly watering weekly, you'd notice they may be growing faster, but you'd notice it's slower because you're looking at it all the time. Whereas this requires such little attention that when it does start growing, you really notice. And it sends off side shoots as well. So here you can see in the centre there's 3 in the middle, and then the larger ones either side, and the leaves coming up there. Look how nice that pattern is there. So I definitely recommend that. That's my number 1. I know it's a very novice and beginner and somewhat, a lot of people find this quite ugly, but that for me is definitely number 1 for beginners. Ease and low maintenance and low requirements. So I hope this top 5 has been useful to someone, and if not, let me know what you'd recommend as your top 5, or if you think that I should add more to this or whatever, let me know in the comments, and I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you in the next video.